It's cozy season. You need blankets, pillows. You need mugs. You need
You know what I want?
tea koozie. What's your cozy season must-haves?
Holiday themed glasses and dishware. You know, I finally got my little Christmas plates that I've wanted for years and years and years last Christmas. I want like some sort
It's
of
not
like
my culture, but
I know
I
it's not your
respect it.
culture, but I want more like Christmassy drinkware, plateware.
Okay, well, you know a great place to get that.
Wayfair.
Yeah, you got to be stocking up at Wayfair.
I'm stocking up at Wayfair.
Because not only are you going to get the cozy items that you so desire, but you're going to get great deals on the cozy items you so desire. Because Wayfair has great deals on things your home actually needs, especially before the holidays. They have everything from sofas to spatulas. You name it, they have it. They also have styles you can't find anywhere else. No cookie cutter stuff that everyone else has, so you can make your home way more you. Right now, you can shop Wayfair's insane holiday deals and get up to 70% off during their Black Friday deals.
You know what items I'm all ready for thanks to Wayfair?
What items?
Christmas napkins. It sounds silly, but I want them and I like them.
Get them.
Christmas, they've got little Christmas trees on them.
Get
and
them.
They're napkins.
Just
okay?
just have me over and make cookies. Like,
and you'll go, not my culture when you like wipe your mouth, but that's fine. That's
no,
totally
I'll say
fine.
these are gorgeous.
Thank you. Don't miss out on saving big with Wayfair this holiday. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday deals. That's WAYFAIR.com.
You or Jayla?
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey,
Mia.
hey,
Mia.
Come on.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger.
I'm Lindsay Weber.
And this is, I believe, this is Stephanie Germanotta.
You can do anything you want. You're Joker.
Whoa, we are in for the ride of our lives with this one, I think, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like gonna hate this movie, aren't I?
It's gonna be so bad.
I'm worried.
I am already seated. I'm seated.
I'm worried. The poster came out and I said, I love this.
He's got Joker makeup on and she has his Joker makeup on because they've been smooching.
And he's holding a ciggy and her name is credited, last name Gaga, Phoenix Gaga, which is incredible. Which is basically like a song title, Phoenix by Gaga, you know?
I used to be so convinced that she was going to go by Stephanie Germanotta.
You really
when she
were,
started
and you
acting.
could
And
not have been
and she's
any
just
wronger.
aggressively dumping Stephanie Germanotta from her entire life.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Like, she is snobby when it comes to acting. Don't forget the coffee in the cup conversation where all the girlies gagged because she kept being like,
Oh no, it's alcohol in the cup where she's like,
what was it?
it's like, do you guys ever get drunk on prop wine or prop liquor? And Kirsten Dunst is like, I don't know what you're talking
No.
about.
Did you see Kirsten Dunst give that quote that was like, you think I'm method? What am I going to go home to my kids and talk in an accent? Only men can do that.
She's good. She gave good quotes.
She's giving good quotes this go around. But my point is that you would think that she would go full Stephanie Germanotta, but in fact, there is something so kind of audacious about her keeping Gaga. I'm everything. And I will not flop because I'm Lady Gaga for all things, you know?
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I know Joker Folie à Deux starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga is
Not
quite
River.
themmy, but it's a part of us. I can't stop thinking about it.
There is something a little hooey about it, though. There is something a little hooey about Lady Gaga. I haven't even seen Joker 1, and I don't
Awful.
plan to.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay,
It's so
wow.
bad.
Okay, so we are going to love this one.
And I think I'm gonna love this one.
Okay, let's get into it.
Because this is Who's There, a weekly call-in show where we take your questions, comments, and concerns at 619-WHO-THEM. All the calls this week are about Lady Gaga.
Every single call. That would be a good April Fool's joke, but it is April 4th, so it's too late for us to do an April Fool's joke.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy, just calling in about famous interpreters. Anne Sullivan, and Anne Sullivan was Helen Keller's teacher/interpreter. Crunch, crunch.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. Just had to pause the pod about Bobby's Vampy expansion. A famous Hui interpreter that I think should be included in the conversation is Sharon Choi. She was Bong Joon-ho's interpreter during the Parasite award season cycle. She actually got so popular that at one point, I think it was the New York Times or the New Yorker actually did a profile on her. And so I think that would definitely be somebody in the Vampy conversation. I know that Bong Joon-ho has a movie coming out next year, so maybe she'll be back for another press cycle. We will see, but good form, Bella Thorne.
Okay, so 2 iconic additions to the new Vampies. The interpreter in Vampies, the I added to Vampies, which we don't even use that often, but it is good to kind of once in a while check in on Vamps and see what's going on. Helen Keller's interpreter.
Anne Sullivan.
Anne Sullivan.
Who played her in the movie?
The Miracle Worker?
Yeah, who played her in the movie?
I don't remember.
It was somebody extremely iconic. It's Anne Bancroft. It's Anne Bancroft.
Good job.
Okay,
Good job.
yes. Okay, great.
And Sharon Choi, who was Bong Joon-ho's interpreter when Parasite won the Oscar and made a splash.
We talked about her in the show right before the pandemic.
Because she's also a filmmaker, so TBD on when she kind of goes off on her own, but that was kind of the story behind her, was that there was, she just wasn't just an interpreter.
I went to her Wikipedia and it said she started writing a screenplay about awards season.
Oh.
And then she was like, no, I'm not. I'm just writing a screenplay about Korea. And then Bong Joon-ho was like, I'm interested in reading it. So I don't know.
So nice of him. Wow, that's
she was
so
also
nice of him.
Greta Lee's dialect coach for Past Lives.
Damn, she's everywhere.
She's everywhere. Anne Sullivan less everywhere, but she is dead. So
well, she can't really be everywhere because she's dead.
The person who called in next, this call is actually quite spicy. And when I listened to it, I listened to it twice because I was like, did I miss this caller saying don't play this call? Because we get plenty of calls that are like, don't play it. But it was just giving to me like breaking an NDA. So I was like, I don't want to get this person in trouble. As much as this call is good, it's not necessarily like mean or nasty or spicy, but it was just giving revealing.
Although to be fair, it is on you to be like, don't play this.
Yeah.
So I do assume not impunity if you don't say that. Like,
sure.
That's
Same.
on you. We will play unless you say don't play.
There was a spidey sense that made me think, oh, this person forgot to say don't play it.
Yes, that was very nice of you. You were being thoughtful. You were like,
yes.
I don't know. I'm not going to try to get someone in trouble, even if I don't want them to get themselves in trouble. Yes, very kind of you.
So I texted them and I was like, hey, your call is great. I just want to confirm that we're allowed to play it on the podcast. It was giving hesitant. I just want to make sure before we put it in who's there. And the caller wrote back, absolutely. Also, here's my car. And then sent us a photo of their car, which I don't want to give the actual license plate, but it is a Subaru Outback, and it does have a Rita Ora themed personalized license plate in the back. It's Rita Who.
It's a gray Subaru Outback, and the license plate reads Rita Who. Which is, honestly, to me, a fellow vanity plate haver, probably one of the bigger honors that I've seen in the Who Weekly fandom.
Tom Hank 3.
You don't understand. This girl has to probably explain this like multiple times a week. This is nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not. No.
Absolutely incredible.
And here is their absolutely incredible, I mean, it's good. It's their good call about Maria Shriver.
Hi, Who Weekly. Long time. Had to pause the pod when you're talking about Patrick Schwarzenegger. I worked for Maria Shriver about 10 years ago. And the family is just like business. It's all deals within each other, and like, yes, it's the Alzheimer's research, but also like this money grab family. I later worked in media, and like because of that connection, Catherine was in touch constantly about I worked for Teen Vogue, about getting us to publish a story about her children's book about dogs. Like, they'll just literally do anything, and it's exactly like you said. It's let me make a call. This bitch called on Rob Lowe constantly. Like, it's seriously like, let me call Sheryl Sandberg. Let me call these other girly bosses, Tory Burch and whatnot. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. It was maybe a year, maybe less than a year after Arnold cheated that I worked there. And, wow, let's just say one of the wildest experiences I've ever had. But, yeah, what's also funny is that Maria Shriver still uses an AOL email address. Okay. Good form, Bellator.
Maria Shriver wheeling and dealing and operating and calling Rob Lowe and Sheryl Sandberg constantly. Katherine Schwarzenegger getting in on the family business. I love it.
Can I quote her? She says, "This bitch called on Rob Lowe constantly." I mean, just as we suspected. I mean, this is not anything. This is not unusual. I don't think anyone would have thought that we were wrong about Maria Shriver,
No.
like just pulling out an old school Rolodex, you know, like they had in All the President's Men, and just freaking throwing through it till she got to, you know, L for Lowe. L for Rob Lowe.
I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago during the pre-announcement Kate Middleton furor. But like it has sort of been haunting me.
Pre-announcement.
The TMZ video of Harvey Levin being like, yeah, the little cottages in the small town had their Christmas lights still up. We sent a photographer there, and they were in fact still up. It's just like Maria Shriver. She always leaves her Christmas lights up. And I was like, how does he know this? Is that an iconic thing?
Wait, that is so funny that you remember that.
Because I was like, is this a thing? But TMZ has reported on this a lot in the past 10 years. They're obsessed with Maria Shriver. This is from April 2nd. So, no, my God, 11 years ago, 2013, April 2nd, 2013. And it says, Maria Shriver, my Christmas lights ain't going nowhere. And it's a video that they took of her like on the street. Her neighbors, because obviously she's rich and lives in a rich neighborhood. So her rich ass neighbors were like, take your Christmas lights down, bitch. And she was like, no, I'm not taking my Christmas lights down.
I have to say, if the power of the HOA doesn't work on Maria Shriver, it's like, what is the point of an HOA?
She's looking extremely Jackie in this photo. Oh my God.
Really?
Extremely Jackie.
She's
with
giving
these
Jackie.
sunglasses. Look at
Well,
this.
that's her heritage. She
her
is
heritage.
Jackie. Did Jackie leave Christmas lights up year round? Oh my God, she really is giving.
There's
Christmas,
no
like,
way.
Wearing a like cozy white sweater, cashmere, I assume, hair down, big glasses, and they're like, Maria, why do you leave your Christmas lights up year round? And she's like, fuck you, that's my religious freedom, you fucking vultures.
It goes, TMZ broke the story. Maria's neighbors have been complaining about the unseasonal decorations outside her Brentwood home, saying they're an eyesore. TMZ shot video of the lights last week, and they really do stick out like a sore thumb.
No!
But Maria tells a slightly different story and says the lights represent something much deeper than a single holiday, which is why they're still up.
Yep.
Or maybe she's just making excuses. TMZ called them the Chris March lights.
I just like feel she's rich enough to get the lights taken down for her, so it's not a matter of laziness, which it would
No.
be for me. You
No,
know,
no. She
if
likes
it was
them.
me, I would say like, well, I'm just like too lazy, and like they look good, and like we'll leave them
Uh-huh.
up, you know, until
Yeah.
they whatever. But for her, I almost believe that there's something else going on, because it's not that hard for her to take them down. It would just be a snap of the finger.
Right. You hire someone. You call a TaskRabbit.
Exactly.
I'm rewatching Sex and the City right now. This predates it appearing on Netflix. I just sort of happenstance ended up in a Sex and the City rewatch that I couldn't stop because I
Right.
started it and then I couldn't turn it off. And
Yeah,
then before
once
I
you
knew it, I'd
pop,
watched 3 seasons.
You really can't.
I got to the scene where, remember when Charlotte starts dating her friend who does all the handyman work around her apartment?
Yeah.
She ends it. Well, he ends it because he like wants to go to LA and be an actor. The Carrie narration is like, she was upset that she didn't have a handyman around the house, but she's like, but it's New York. You can just hire someone to do it.
Did you see the iconic Sex and the City clip that went viral because somebody edited it to the most deranged thing I've ever seen in my life, which was the clip of Carrie in Paris getting excited when she sees the Eiffel Tower. She's like, oh, ooh. But somebody edited in a screenshot of the tweet that we'll get there, reveals that
Hunter Schafer and Rosalia are dating. Used to
did date for 5 months, which was in the iconic profile written by Emma Carmichael in GQ. But somebody edited a screenshot of that, so it looks like Carrie is squealing. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like nothing. It's so stupid.
Look like that.
It looks like Carrie is looking at that tweet and squealing. Like, who thought of that?
It's one of the most diseased videos I've ever watched. No, the video is very much like that person needs a CAT scan.
Right, but then they also need to be elected president.
She's reacting at a tweet that says, Pop Crave. Hunter Schafer confirms to GQ that she dated Rosalia for about 5 months in 2019. She says the two are friends now. Quote, she's family no matter what. And Carrie's like gasping and squirming at the news.
If this was the internet in 2009, that person would be profiled in GQ as well. You know, that person would get a feature. I would be interviewing them, you know?
I've like never seen that meme construction before either. So I'm
No.
sort of like, did that meme construction exist before, or did this person invent it for this?
You
and
mean
I really
like
hope
with
it's the
that
latter.
specific clip?
Yeah, did this person find the clip and say, I'm going to turn this clip into a meme? Because I've never seen it used.
Or did that person see that tweet and think, oh, this is like when Carrie saw the Eiffel Tower in Sex and the City and I should cut it in? I don't know. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic.
It really is fantastic.
We'll get there, though. We should move on to our final comment before we bring up news.
Final comment. A lot of calls about how Eddie Van Halen is in fact dead, but only one call that was as good as this one.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. So my question is, do you think Eddie Van Halen is catfishing Valerie Bertinelli from Beyond the Grave with the help of Andrew Garfield's new witch girlfriend, Tim Tebow lesbian?
I actually have an answer for this.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
So you're saying you think, like the caller put together, you're saying you think that with the help of Andrew Garfield's new witch girlfriend,
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen, who hired her, or he just contacted her? She had a door open and he walked in?
Yeah.
She had a door open, he walked in, he said, I need your help.
Door open.
I don't know how that works. He said, I need your help catfishing my ex, Valerie Bertinelli. You know, it sounds kind of mean. It's so sad when you say it like that. Well, a lot of people are mad at us because we said he was alive when he was dead. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. He still can perform these kind of catfishing things from beyond the grave.
Of course he can. Of course he
His
can.
caller agrees.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. This might actually be a VIP call because I don't know if Julia Fox is a who or a them at this point. But I just needed to tell you that she styled her hair to look like Velveeta cheese, and there are these pictures of her walking around with her Velveeta hair, and she's got this bag with Velveeta in it. It looks like, or maybe it's a sticker. I don't know. I can't tell. I have food poisoning and I'm dying, but needed to call you to tell you about Julia Fox Velveeta hair. It's kind of a sleigh. Yeah. Scarjo Yummy Pop. Bye.
Questioning whether Julia Fox is a who or them really takes me out of the game for a second. I'm like, how could you question these things? How?
Julia Fox is such a who.
And every day she just like doubles down on her whodom, which I think is totally fine because it's like make money while you can make it. But it's also kind of like these decisions aren't escalating you out of that category. Again, totally fine.
Sorry, you don't
Love
walk
her.
around with Velveeta colored hair and a Velveeta box in your clear purse for Velveeta Spawn for your Instagram without being a who. That's just the rules.
I just think it's so funny to post a very kind of creatively outlandish spawn on April Fool's Day that's not an April Fool.
The fool is that it's real.
Well, right. It's like we're the fools because we're consuming it and being like, oh,
Yeah.
like Julia Fox has yellow hair that looks like Velveeta cheese or something. My conspiracy is that, yes, she's promoting hair dye, but she's wearing a wig because I'm kind of like, it's a lot of work to go fully yellow and an ugly yellow. Sorry, it's ugly. It's the color of Velveeta cheese. It's ugly. It's for this spawn, you know, even though we're getting a detailed people exclusive about how you would go that yellow. Like her hairstylist is like, first we're going gray, we're fading the gray, and then we're going yellow. It's like, I did try and find some photos of her post these photos, paparazzi photos or whatever, where her hair is still yellow, but I couldn't find anything. So if you have proof where there's like footage of her with her still yellow hair, then let me know. But it kind of is giving wig. And I guess you can also buy this Velveeta hair dye, which I don't know why you would buy Velveeta branded hair dye. That is clearly a marketing tool, you know?
It's a marketing tool. I think they probably made like 1,000 of these and they're going
Right,
to
and
sell
they're
them until
on
they're
sale.
out. Yeah, they're
Velveeta
$7.50.
It does wash out too, so that's also why I'm giving like this is a wig, because I don't think that hair dye it's not very powerful hair dye. I don't think it creates such a strong color in her hair. Whatever. I'm just getting into the intricacies of why I think it's a wig.
Please read the caption because it includes a really tremendous hashtag.
Hair color by Velveeta, vibes by Julia Fox, and dedicated to everyone who unapologetically goes all in on what they love. Jeez. The limited edition Velveeta Gold semi-permanent hair dye is gorgeous and available on Amazon. Hashtag La Dolce Velveeta. Hashtag La Dolce Velveeta is like their spawn, though.
La Dolce Velveeta is really good.
That's like their kind of language.
But this is real. Like, it's a real hair dye and it's a real thing. It's a piece of foolish spawn that happened to be released on April Fool's, but it's not fake.
But that's why it kind of makes me mad, because it's like, do you think they pitched this as an April Fool's and then somebody was like, no, let's just do it earnestly with Julia Fox and it won't be an April Fool's, but then it happened to happen on April Fool's? That's what's kind of annoying to me. They could have been like, she dyed her hair with Velveeta cheese, LOL, April Fool's, or something. Again, these are all bad. I don't work for Velveeta. This is why we live in uncanny Spawn Valley, you know, because things like this happen and you're kind of like, yes, but also ... no.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Julia Fox, because I do feel like when somebody in the room came up with this idea, there was only a kind of a very short list of who they'd want to pay to do it. And she's at the top of that list at this point. And to her credit, like, she's really done a good job putting herself there, where she literally has a show coming out, which we've mentioned on E, that is like a fashion judging, oh my God, fashion or something,
OMG
where it's like
fashion.
People are
it
doing
looks really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people are doing like crazy fashion and she's being like, yes to all of it, you know? Which I do think is actually hard, because I feel like at least on Project Runway, they're kind of like, this is or this isn't fashion, or this is good or this is bad. And I feel like for her purpose, she's going to have to be like slay to everything, you know?
What is it on Project Runway every season? There's one episode where it's like unconventional materials challenge.
Sure. Yes, of course.
This is that, but every episode.
Someone's going to come out and be like, I dip myself in mud and then like cover myself in little eyeballs. And also I'm wearing like 12 trash bags. And I'm also like, I wrapped a snake around my head. And she's going to be like, slay, mama. You know, if everything is fashion, because like kind of according to her, it kind of is like, do whatever you want, like be crazy. Then how do you judge that?
Well, you have Law Roach there too, who I think will have a more like well-tuned eye. You know?
True.
I think he might be the voice of reason.
Maybe Julia's just there to be like, everything is good, I love it, I would wear it.
Julia's just the positive force who's like, I love what you did with those googly eyes. And Law Roach might be like, I'm a little concerned about what you did with those googly eyes.
Yeah, okay, great. So he's like the Michael Kors of the season, of the show. Okay, great. Can't wait to watch.
I'm like impressed by her ability to actually land this hosting show, because I feel like so often you see these like who's that are kind of flashes in the pan, and then they announce things that never come to fruition. And this is actually made. Like, there's a trailer for it. It's done. It premieres in a couple of weeks.
Well, especially on a channel that has like what, no shows? I don't know what E even has on it anymore. So,
but it's also like she announced a memoir and it came out and it was good. You know, like plenty of these who's announce things that are not followed through.
You're saying she has the juice.
Yeah.
And actually, it speaks to this Velveeta shit, is that she could live off this for the rest of her relevance. Like, she could like load these up. She could do like, you know, one a month, and she could just keep doing them until people don't want to have her do them anymore. And maybe she's made like $1 million or so from that. And then like, okay, on to the next. But instead, she's kind of like looking around being like, I actually want to execute these other things that are in my, you know, and don't forget, the girl can act. I don't know like how well. I do feel like Uncut Gems felt like a little bit of a fluke, because she's so good and it was really literally a role like made for her. So it's hard to kind of judge off that. But, you know, she technically is an actress.
Yeah, she is.
Technically.
The first time we talked about it on the podcast was because she was in a hyped and well-liked movie.
Yeah.
And was one of the scene stealers of it before we really knew anything about her.
We had no idea what was going to happen with her. And it's delightful, to be honest.
And now she's got Velveeta on her head.
Yeah.
I love Velveeta.
Do you?
I love it.
You know, it's technically not cheese. It used to be cheese, and then they stopped using the cheese, and they were like, you actually can't call this cheese anymore. Sorry.
It's cheese product. You can't get a certain quality to your queso unless you use processed cheese. So
well, it's got the chemicals in it, just like hair dye. Oh my God, that's an amazing connection. Also, what's so funny? Okay, what's so funny about this is they're presenting hair dye that has full of chemicals, right? That dye your hair. Toxic chemicals that you should not ingest. But it looks like Velveeta, even in its hair dye form. You would think that a company like Velveeta that wants you to eat the product wouldn't put it kind of side by side with a hair dye, unless it was an April Fool's, because this would be me arguing in the room.
It looks like something you can dip your chip into and love.
Right. And also, like, when I'm eating Velveeta, I don't want to look at it and say, this looks like hair dye. Like, this reminds me of toxic hair dye. And Velveeta is famously made out of chemicals as well. Chemicals you can eat, but can you? You know?
Yeah. Classic easiest case in the world is just like a thing of Velveeta and a can of Rotel. Call it a day.
Yum.
Put it in the microwave. You're done.
Sounds great.
You're fucking done.
Right. They used to make it with leftover cheese, which is like what you'd imagine Velveeta would be. It's like it's the excess cheese.
That's all smushed together into a cube, yeah.
Then they changed it to bring all chemicals. And the FDA sent Kraft a note and said, you actually need to remove the word cheese from your packaging. And they did.
When you go to the movie theater, you're not putting butter on your popcorn. You're putting butter flavor.
Ugh,
you're putting butter flavor on your popcorn.
Well,
I love butter flavor.
My next wig will be styled with butter flavor. Okay.
Let's move on.
I want to be famous.
Love my CB distillery. It helps me sleep. I love my they're called gummies. They have gummies and gummies. The gummies don't quite put me to sleep, but the gummies do put me to sleep. And I take them most nights, to be honest.
You do. I know you do because you tell me about it every time. You're like, well, that worked. And for Bobby, nothing seems to be working. So this is an incredible breakthrough for you.
Genuinely a huge breakthrough for me. CB Distillery's targeted formulations are made from the highest quality, clean ingredients. No fluff, no fillers, just pure, effective CBD solutions designed to help support your health. In 2 non-clinical surveys, 81% of customers experienced more calm, 80% said CBD helped with pain after physical activity, and an impressive 90% among them, myself, said they slept better with CBD. So if you struggle with a health concern and haven't found relief, make the change like I did to CB Distillery. And with over 2 million customers and a solid 100% money-back guarantee, CB Distillery is the source to trust. We have a 20% discount code to get you started. Visit cbdistillery.com and use code WHO for 20% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code WHO. cbdistillery.com.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week, I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I slept in a terrible bed at one of our dates this story. I won't reveal where it was because I don't want to be super rude, but the bed was absolutely horrendous. Big dip in the middle. I was always like rolling into the center. It was so bad. My back hurt so bad when I woke up. And guess what? When I got home, my favorite part of being home was getting in bed.
Yeah, you were like back into my mattress.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a real bed that was chosen for me based on a quiz, the Helix quiz.
Right. And sometimes when people use my mattress, they're like, that's a little soft. And I'm like, yeah, it's made for me, not for you.
For you.
Which actually even drives home the fact that it's so made for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I kind of relish in the fact, I mean, I don't want my friends to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, I kind of am like celebrating the fact that it's like for my body, not for yours.
Mm-hmm. I just sleep so much better on my own mattress than literally any other mattress. And that's because Helix mattresses rock. I wake up, my back doesn't hurt. I wake up, I don't have night sweats. I wake up and I'm thrilled. I wake up and I say, I love you, Helix.
That's
so
incredible.
If you want to experience the joy that I experience every
time
I get in bed,
the
and
satisfaction,
every time I get out of bed, you should go to helixsleep.com/who because you will get 25% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. Plus, get a free bedding bundle, which includes 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order at helixsleep.com/who. That's helixsleep.com/who.
I want to be famous.
Bruised brain and ego. Pretty Little Liars star Tammin Sursok rushed to ER with head injury suffered while filming newborn photo shoot parody. The star revealed she's learned 5 important things from this scary experience. Crunch, crunch.
Okay, before we read the 5 important things, actually, no, maybe we should read the 5 important things that Tammin Sursok, who I only know from Pretty Little Liars, which is a show I only watched like half a season of, but she played iconically. She is not, in fact, blind in real life, but she played a blind student in Pretty Little Liars, and Ashley
What?
Benson's like a huge bitch to her. There's like
Okay,
a really classic video that I think Timmy put in here that I've seen a million times where Ashley, not the TikTok, click this. Click Pretty Little Liars, season 1, episode 20, Hannah slaps Jenna. It's when Ashley Benson just like walks up to the blind girl and slaps her so hard her glasses fall off.
What? Wait, I'm
You've never
looking.
seen that clip? And Troy and
No.
Belisario's watching like, oh.
Wait, she walks up and slaps her?
She walks up to her and then she just slaps her in the face. It's like a Twitter meme.
I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. This is like giving Ryan Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. She slapped those glasses right off her face.
And then Ashley Benson hands her the glasses back and goes, "This is Hannah, in case you couldn't tell."
Oh, because she's blind. Jesus Christ.
She is, I think, best known for Pretty Little Liars.
Wait, I'm sorry. Pretty Little Liars season 3, episode 2. The girls find out that Jenna can see. I'm not clicking on that. She could see the whole time?
I guess. I didn't watch that far. My roommates at the time Pretty Little Liars came out were really into Pretty Little Liars, so I watched some of it with them, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. So
Yeah,
I just
really
stopped.
I skipped this era. Okay, so she goes in the bathtub and she fills a water bottle and she takes off her glasses and she can see.
Wow. She was on Pretty Little Liars for many, many seasons. I think like 5 or 6 seasons.
Uh-huh.
What I sort of was gagged by is when I noticed that on some profile of her, they talked about how she got her start on Home and Away. Famously comes up anytime we're talking about an Australian Who, because it's like a place that a lot of Australian actors got their start. It's just like a long running soap opera that's been on for like 35 years, maybe almost 40 years, and I believe still is on. So Australian, but she was actually born in South Africa.
Okay.
In interviews, she talks about how her accent's all over the place. It's giving Anya Taylor-Joy.
She's South African.
She's South African,
Okay,
but
that
she grew up
explains her
in
iconic
Australia.
name, Tammin Sursok.
Tammin
I mean, that's
Sursok.
a name. That's a name, you know?
Yes. She's older than we are, but was playing teenagers when we were in our 20s. You know, like
Sure.
she has that sort of career. That's who she is. There's really not much to say about this person. But there was this headline. The reason we're talking about her is because of this headline. Bruised brain and ego. Pretty Little Liar star Tammin Sursok rushed to ER with head injury suffered while filming newborn photo shoot parody. When I first saw this, I was like, the newborn photo shoot parody sort of like slipped out of my mind, and I was like, oh no, head injury, that's really scary. And I kind of ignored the reasoning for it.
Yeah, you're like, oh no. You were like, what's another way I could get a head injury? I should
No,
watch
know,
it
it's
and
so
find
scary.
out.
God. So I went to her Instagram first before watching the video of her getting the head injury, because yes, it is on film. And it's a video of her in a neck brace at what is obviously the hospital. And she says, please watch video before this post for reference. What happened to her was she was doing a newborn photo shoot parody on her bed, dressing up like an Ann Getty's baby.
She is doing a TikTok trend where the trend is like newborn photo shoots be like this or something. What does it say? Newborn photo shoots be like dot.
Yes.
And she's wrapped up in a blanket across her head. It is kind of actually quite convincing. Like it does look like that. She has like a garland of like ivy around her head as well. And she's kind of like putting herself in and around a basket. It is very, it's giving Ann Getty's. It's very much like who is taking this, but that's okay. Like who is filming this, you know?
The camera is moving, so someone is filming this. It could be her husband, because it's not on a stationary thing.
So there's one shot where she's put herself into the basket, right? She's in the blanket, she's in the basket, and the basket rolls over and and you see her fall right off the bed. And it kind of makes a little bit of a thump.
A full 180 degrees, she lands with her head hitting the floor. And then it instantly cuts to her with a neck brace in a hospital smiling. So yes, she hit her head while filming this newborn baby photo shoot parody on TikTok and then posted this on Instagram. Please watch the video before post for reference, crying laughing emoji. embarrassed emoji. Things I've learned in the last 2 days. 1, concussions can happen doing the stupidest things. And when it happens, you might have to show or tell the doctor what you were doing, and it could be the most embarrassing moment of your life. 2, concussions can happen 24 hours after you do that stupid thing, so watch for symptoms. 3, CT scans are weirdly soothing, and when pumped with anti-nausea medication, can make you nap. 4, when you have small kids, the ER is like a mini vacation. 5, neck braces are good to sleep upright, so maybe I'll take one home for the plane. Thanks for all the well wishes. Feeling slightly better. Just a bruised brain and ego. And the scan showed I did have a brain, so that's good. Hashtag concussion awareness. Hashtag funny accident. Hashtag
concussion
ER.
awareness. She posted a TikTok update with just like a shot of her diagnosis, which is head injury and concussion. And the caption is, "Doctor, you have a concussion. What happened? Me, .. Hashtag if you know, you know. Hashtag head injury."
I'm sure they've seen so much worse. So much
I know.
worse.
I feel like kids set themselves on fire every day and have to go to the ER. It's like, okay, this random actress from Pretty Little Liars fell off the bed.
He's like, weren't you the blind girl in Pretty Little Liars who wasn't actually blind?
Yeah. He's like, I don't trust you. I saw you on Pretty Little Liars. You don't actually have a head injury.
I'm glad that you or Timmy found this. She did a photo shoot for her newborn child in 2019, just like the ones that she was parodying in her video, which injured her. So it's like, oh, she knows exactly what she's talking about because she has children and did this thing back in the day.
Well, maybe that's kind of what she's joking about. But her and her husband are doing like funny skits on TikTok non-stop, which like is definitely something else she should get checked out while she's at the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And she definitely gets covered, which is funny because I feel like the long tail of Pretty Little Liars really is so kind of effective. Like, it's not like she was in this, she doesn't have another iconic role like that. And she was not even one of the main 4 liars.
She has so few iconic roles that I don't know if it's an IMDb glitch or not, but on her IMDb, her known for is only 3 titles, despite being in 1 billion things. Like, she's not lacking for credits. She's been in 1 million things. Not just
Right.
Flicka, she was in Flicka too. You know, like
Right.
she's in a lot of stuff. So I find it strange.
She had a great headline in 2023 in June. It says, married actress Tammin Sursok says she regrets dumping celebrity ex-boyfriend for not being successful enough, only for him to become a famous Hollywood A-lister with a $30 million mansion.
And she won't say who it is.
But the Daily Mail says...
It's probably Chris Hemsworth.
It's probably Chris Hemsworth because she was on Home and Away alongside Chris Hemsworth. And they're like, who else could it be?
Yeah.
Seeing that Rosalia and Hunter Schafer dated. They dated? Oh my gosh. I love that couple. Where are our eyes on the ground for that? Did anyone see them at a movie theater? Okay. Crunch crunch. Bye.
This is big. I finally read Emma's wonderful profile of Hunter Schafer in GQ that dropped this week.
I know it's kind of a delight and shame that this is like what is coming out of this because it proves Emma got the tea, she got the dirt. In the profile, I will say to Emma's credit, she like insinuates it and Hunter doesn't want to say anything, and then the next day follows up on it as if, did you check in with your friend Hunter so you could reveal this maybe tea? And Emma was like, I have a sixth sense that something was going on here, and it wasn't just like 2 girlies going furniture shopping together as BFFs. You know? Emma said, Emma put on her LaToya Jackson
little magnifying glass.
Yeah, she put it on. I know you can't put it on. She took out her LaToya Jackson magnifying glass and she said, something's here. But this profile is really good. There's just not a lot of like celebrity tea. It's just more about like Hunter Schafer's mindset and kind of like her personality, which is like really great. And I feel like I'm getting a good sense of like the kind of person she is from this.
They got a big get with Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens does not stop saying complimentary
Nice
things
things.
about
Well,
Hunter Schafer that are like
the movie too.
She's the best, she's the best, she's the best. Oh my god, she's the best. I've never seen anyone more talented my entire life. It's incredible. She's so great. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Well, what else is he
it's a good piece. And I genuinely I think I memory hold this because I think she's been associated with just like It Girl, Euphoria, that whole crew for so long that I forget the reason Hunter Schafer is famous is because of the HB2 bill in North
Yes.
Carolina. And this piece reminded me that like The only reason she's famous is because of this like anti-trans bill that she fought when she was a teen.
Right. She signed up to kind of be a part of that fight. And then somebody
Mhm.
was like, you should model, literally from that. Then she became a model, and then she became an actress.
Mm-hmm. And then she never stopped being an activist because that is like so inherent to her DNA and just like her fame. That's how she
Yeah.
became famous.
The piece is kind of like she can't help but be an activist. And
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
that's something that is kind of a title that's placed on you when you're trans and you're in the public eye anyways,
Mhm.
no matter what you do, which is its own conversation, whether or not, like, clearly her background is in activism and she's okay with it. But it's like, that is kind of something that's like, what if she wasn't interested in that? Just because you're trans doesn't mean you have to be an activist, you know?
Mhm.
Your existence is activism. Yeah.
But she happens to be an actual activist who
Sure.
performs activism.
But the conversation she has with Emma is more about like, she's saying, I actually don't really necessarily want to play trans roles. Like that's
she
not
does say
something
that.
I'm interested in using myself for in this space, like of Hollywood, you know?
Yeah. She also talks about her coming out story. And then like, because of that, I revisited like old, like 2017 clips of her in high school, and her parents are just like lovely and being like very supportive and lovely on local news back when this was all happening. But anyway, she did in fact date Rosalia. That did in fact cause someone on Twitter to absolutely lose their minds and make the video of Carrie in Paris.
Which we've described above. Incredible. And like, if anything, like, I actually don't really care that she dated Rosalia, but I care about that meme. So like, I'm happy that we got that out of this. But people did lose their goddamn minds over this. I don't
Well, I
even
think
remember when there was speculation. There was like 4 different photos, maybe two different times when they were photographed together that kind of led to this questioning or something.
Mm-hmm.
And now Rosalia is dating Jeremy Allen White. So Rosalia's track record is like actually quite impressive.
Yeah. I mean, Rosalia has been accused of queer baiting in the past, and I think this will put that to bed. Let's move on.
Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. I'm sure everyone is calling you about this, but Wanya Morris of Boys to Men has 4 sons named Wanya Morris, and on the credits on the list for the group that they have together, the last one is Wanya Morris the third. They're not in order in the list. Please talk about this. Love you to the ends of the earth. Showing whole crunch.
So Wanya Morris has 4 sons named Wanya Morris.
Yeah.
They are Wanya the second, Wanya the third, Wanya the fourth, Wanya the fifth. When I first heard the call, I thought that the caller was saying that they were named out of order, but they weren't named out of order. And I can't find this group list where the third is the last, even though the third is the second child. You know what I'm saying?
What is funny is he has a George Foreman family in which every kid is named Wanya Morris. And he has a first wife and a second wife. His first wife, he had all these kids, 6 kids. Wanya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, just 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 1.
He had 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he had 2 girls. Did you notice one of his girls is named Anya?
Anya,
So technically
which is Wanya
she's a
without
6.
a W.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shayla, which technically is not Wanya or Anya, but is Shayla. Then he divorced his wife and has a new wife with a new baby. And guess what? Her name isn't even close to Wanya.
Yeah, well, that's good.
He made his last wife name all the kids Wanya. And now the new wife doesn't have to name the kid Wanya?
The new wife is like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
That's what I'm saying. The other thing about Wanya Morris from Boys to Men's kids, all named Wanya, is they're in a group, of course, called One More. One More. Awful name. I get that they're all named Wanya Morris, but One More is awful. And also, in case you're wondering, these kids are not all just calling each other Wanya. They have nicknames, so it's like Big Boy, Tyvos, Rocco, Chulo.
Well, yeah, they all have different nicknames so that they can differentiate themselves because they're all named Wanya Morris.
And they're all in a group, and they can't just be like Wanya, 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 Wanya.
I wonder why, because when I think of Boys to Men, there are only 3 members of it now. But, like, who is the first member of Boys to Men that comes to your mind when you can name
Wanya
a Boyz II Men?
Morris.
Me too.
Didn't he date Brandy? That's why.
He did date
to me.
Brandy. And I think,
Yeah.
and when I was looking into, like, why is that the only person I can name? Because Nathan Morris.
Sean?
Yeah, Sean Stockman is the other one.
Yeah.
But Nathan
Sean.
Morris has been, when I think of the face of Boys to Men, I think of Nathan Morris. When I think of a name, I think of Wanya Morris.
So Wanya Morris, though, is the face of Boys to Men to me because he dated Brandy. And also because when they were at their peak, he was kind of the one always in the center of the 3 men.
Yeah, yeah.
to me. And now he has kids who are in a group called One More.
And they're signed to Mary J. Blige's label.
And I don't know how legit this is, but a website called Atlanta Black Star reported that since he has a new wife and kid, he like is ignoring his other children, which is like a very big accusation to make. But then I was kind of looking through and I was kind of like, his new wife does not mention his other children once in her Instagram, just they are not mentioned. And to be fair, he also hadn't mentioned them until 12 weeks ago, maybe after this article was posted in December of 2023. He posted like, so proud of my sons. I was kind of like,
I love One More.
I do feel like he maybe saw the backlash to him not posting his sons at all and was like, I love my sons.
I'm beyond proud of my children and all their successes. They are destined for great things. I love them. And then all caps, all. I love them all. And special thank you, Queen Mary J. Blige, for your support and guidance to my offspring. Their biggest moment was last year at the Grammys.
They performed
with Smokey Robinson.
Tribute. Yeah. In like a tribute.
But it was interesting because it was part of a larger thing. I remember watching those Grammys and being like, oh, okay, and then looking into that. But it sort of seemed like, and I still think they sort of seem like, is this going to happen or not? Because I was listening to some of their music, and it's good. Like they sound like a group that would have been popular in 1994, but I don't know if that works now.
But that's what I was literally just gonna say. They sound like the problem
they
is
sound
that
like their father is in Boys to Men.
He molded the group to be literally Boys to Men again with young kids, but there is simply no demand for a Boys to Men again situation, right? Like that's the issue. And even Boys to Men themselves are kind of an active group. And I mean, they're working off of their hits. Like they got hits, they'll keep working. And they're on tour with like other groups. But it is kind of a little bit of like setting your kids up for failure by launching them into a very good a cappella style type boy group when that's simply not something the market is wanting. And they're all named Wanya. It's just confusing.
They're opening for Omarion now on like his tour.
Oh, that's cool. Good for them.
But their music is good. Their music is like objectively good and they have good voices. It is just so dated that you're sort of like, I wonder how the market will respond to this. And the early 2000s are trending now, but not necessarily the early 90s, you know? If you had a kid, would you name your kid Lindsay? I don't think I would name my kid Bobby.
No, I think that's sacrilegious.
No. Lindsay with an A.
And that's why I think when people are juniors, they have to go by fucking Junior or like TJ or like LJ or like, it's like, just give them a different name.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. It is Cowboy Carter weekend, and I'm so happy. I am calling because there are a lot of possibly country thems, but definitely mainstream who's on this album. Just to name a few, tenor Adele. I know you have talked about Buckle Bunny before, and it is bop. Brittany Spencer, Tiara Kennedy, and Raina Roberts, who are all on Blackbird. Shabuzi, who I've never heard of in my entire life. Willie Jones. And yeah, I'm so interested to hear more about these people and how Beyonce discovered them and where they're going next. One of everything, really good.
If you're a Patreon listener, we kind of did a little bit of this digging on our Patreon.
We focus mostly on Tiara Kennedy.
Well, meaning I played her entire song, but we did mention the other ones, and we've talked about on this podcast. We've talked about what's her face, Rena,
Tanner, Adele, and Rena.
More so Rena. Remember, because we were talking about like when I was listening to her music, I was like, we talked about like Winchester 67 or whatever that song is, Raina
Roberts. Because we've talked, it's 67 Winchester is the song that you're talking about. Because she's come up before on the podcast, as has Tanner Adele. Yeah, iconic Buckle Bunny, which finally happened. But the people that we haven't really talked about before are Tiara Kennedy, who, again, we talked about her on Patreon. But T.R. Kennedy has been making music for, I think, longer than most of the people on this list, among the
T.R.
longest
Kennedy.
on this list.
Right.
She used to record under the name Tiara, then she got married to someone whose name is Cameron Kennedy. So she professionally became T.R. Kennedy as well, which I find kind of interesting because not everyone wants to do that. Because she was mononymous Tiara until she got married, and then she became T.R. Kennedy. Something I also didn't know is that she's had a show on Apple Music for like 3 years that is still like almost daily. So she's like on Apple Music Country, being essentially a country DJ and developing a personality and like a fandom there.
Sure, she's also literally on country charts. All of these people are maybe not charting high on country charts, but actively on country charts, which is a lot. I mean, it's not like
she's
Beyonce
incredible.
just chose random people. And I really like that she chose girlies that aren't necessarily your what's her face, kind of the more mainstream. It's not like she had a Darius Rucker. Like she could have, there are country artists of color that are kind of always talked about, which is great. But there's a whole new generation of country artists of color that she went for, which is great. Like Buckle Bunny, for example.
Buckle Bunny. So after T.R. Kennedy, who again is and Lindsay's favorite T.R. Kennedy song, which has since become my favorite T.R. Kennedy song because I cannot get it out of my head, is Jesus, My Mama, My Therapist, which is
you could play it in full here again.
Absolutely perfect. It is a
it's a perfect song.
Perfect country song.
It's so perfect. I'm not sure she has another song that even lives up to how good it is, which is can be a problem.
It's like listening to Maren Morris. Like, what was Maren Morris's actual first single? Was it My Church? Yeah, it's like listening to My Church and being like, this girly, she'll never do it again. Yeah. Like, it doesn't get better than this. And then it did.
And I want to shout out Sam Buck of KFM Country Radio, which you can get on Patreon fame, for introducing me to that song. Because I don't think I would have heard it otherwise. And I'm just very grateful to him that he brought that into my life via his radio show.
And then there's Shabuzi. Shabuzi is like doing like a Beyonce thing of combining a lot of different genres. So Shabuzi sounds like this.
Trap country fusion.
Remember my Chevy was stuck in a pound. I didn't have money to go get it out. Remember I needed favors. Now I don't need a savior. But now life and my biggest mistake is leaving my town with a pretty lady. Tripping my heart like a day old paper. Ran me wild and drove me crazy.
He also had a song in the Spider-Man soundtrack, not the most recent one, but the original Spider-Man animated one.
Okay.
And then there's Willie Jones. Willie Jones didn't mean much to me, but
he's iconic to Timmy because he was on X Factor season 2, which is a star-making season. Fifth Harmony, Diamond White, Aaron Ray, B. Miller. That's Timmy's commentary.
Thank you, Timmy.
So I mean, to be fair, that's one of the OG X Factor seasons. If Fifth Harmony was being made on it, Willie Jones was 17. He had an audition. He was pulled out. He was one of the kind of people that people had an eye on, and he was also on, for some reason, the MagCon tour with Cameron Dallas and his reality show, which I don't even want to get into that, but apparently he was part of that scene. He's kind of been all over the place. Ending up on Beyonce's album is kind of an iconic run in terms of like doing literally everything and ending up being like, oh, I'm actually just making legit music now because he's a beautiful voice.
I'm weird. Sunshine's a little bit brighter. Moon hangs a little bit higher. I see's a little bit sweeter. That grass a little bit greener. That beer's a little bit colder. A little warmer when you hold her. Slide out that screen door. It's better on a back porch.
this might be enough time. It's been about a week. Okay, good. I do have the photo, the screenshot. So Linda Martell is not like a young girly. She is a country icon who released a country album in the 70s, I think 1970. Color Me Country. So highly influential black artist in country. The moment Cowboy Carter came out, I went to Linda Martell's Spotify because I was like, oh, I wonder how Color Me Country will increase in listeners over the next few months, few weeks, now that Cowboy Carter is out, if there's going to be like a Linda Martell renaissance. And so I took a screenshot last Friday, and now I'm comparing her Spotify numbers to last Friday's numbers. And let's see. They've raised slightly. Not much, honestly. I was expecting a more pronounced bump, but there isn't a pronounced bump, so never mind.
Okay, wow, what a lead up you created there for no reason.
It's a hell of an album, I have to say. But one of my favorite girlies on here is actually Brittany Spencer, and Brittany Spencer got famous during the pandemic for one of the iconic reasons now that happens in this day and age. She just put a video of herself on the internet of her singing to a Highwomen song, and the Highwomen retweeted it. And she instantly started getting like reached out to by people in the music industry.
I love the
And what I
Highwomen.
also love about her is she's basically our age. She's a couple years younger than we are, but like she's not like a 21-year-old who just is aspiring for music superstardom
Right.
at a young age. She's like in her 30s, made this happen, and is now literally on the Beyonce album. And her new album also just came out like a couple of weeks ago, and it's very, very like traditional country.
You better fill up that gas, boy. I don't wanna take it slow. I'm cinnamon on your dashboard. Sugar me sweet and low. Gonna want you step on yesterday. Rainbow down the interstate. No race coming up our way. You wanna drive, I wanna ride. It's summertime. I got time today. I got time. I got time.
But she like wasn't kind of a random. She lived in Nashville. She wasn't like
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
kind
She was
of outsider.
she was a working artist.
Right. She was probably doing those like songwriter nights like that the girlies do in Nashville or whatever. I mean, she clearly like was part of the scene. It wasn't like she came out of actual nowhere.
Yeah.
And also pointed out by somebody on Twitter that two of them, both Brittany and Raina Roberts, are both openers for Reba or have opened for Reba on her most recent tour.
the
So it's
past.
not. So let's just say Beyonce is not the only iconic girly who is looking to the new generation, a younger generation, let's say, for kind of talent to. I mean, it's great. It's like, I'm not going to Reba's show, so I'm not seeing this, but I'm so pleased to see that Beyonce's not just the only person seeing kind of this talent and trying to bring it to a bigger recognition, that also people within the country music scene are also doing that.
Yeah.
Like Reba.
The power that Beyonce and Taylor Swift have to put someone on an album or in a show with them and then shoot those people to superstardom, or not superstardom, but to major success, is sort of crazy.
Yeah. Which is why you would be the second opener for Taylor Swift, aka Charlie XCX.
Charlie
or
XCX.
the first opener. You're not even right before Taylor Swift. You're before the opener. Like you're there's two openers and you're first. I'm just saying stuff like that is worth being a part of for that reason. You know, people wondered why Haim traveled around the world opening for Taylor Swift when they arguably didn't need to. It's like because of this reason.
I want to be famous.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Can't imagine it any other way. WhoWeekly.us is a Squarespace. It will always be a Squarespace. We love our Squarespace.
Even if they said no more advertising on this podcast, we would still have it be a Squarespace, because honestly, it's just the easiest, sanest way to have a website on the internet at this point.
Yeah. I really can't think of another option.
No, I wouldn't even know how to do another option at this point. It's like it is a perfect way. I know they have all the features I need. If there's a new feature that I need somehow in the future, I know that they're going to have it. Let's say there's something we need to do on this website that I can't even think of right now. I know that
As
in the future
technology advances,
that they will have our
I
back.
trust that Squarespace will keep up.
Well, because right now it's like, you know, we have our tour dates that we're able to change on a whim,
Very
which we
easily.
need to. But Squarespace does plenty of other things. They've got, you know, you could do a course, you could host a course, you could do analytics, you could do email campaigns, you can take payments, you can sell stuff. I mean, it's like
sell stuff
we could do whatever we wanted on Squarespace, and I am actually comforted knowing that I could do that in the future.
Yeah.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/who and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. That's 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
It's that time of year again when we do Storyworth ads.
No, it's that time of year again when we have to figure out we're going to get our friends and family for the holidays.
I know.
And we're like, what better gift than Storyworth? Truly.
It's funny that these podcast ads evolved as we get older, because we used to say it's a great gift for like your parent or grandparent or guardian or like older person in your life. But as we get older, it's like, wait, this is a great gift for all of the new parents in my life. Like people who just had a baby,
Totally.
who can like chronicle this like important year of their lives via Storyworth. It's a great gift.
Yeah, and we've already given this gift to so many people we know, so we can vouch for the fact that it's one of the more thoughtful gifts you could give someone.
And here's how it works. Each week, Storyworth emails your loved one a thought-provoking question that you get to help pick. They're like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? What's the farthest place you've ever traveled? How'd you used to get to school every day? Whatever. And then it makes the writing process a breeze, so all your loved one needs to do is respond to the email with the story, long, short, up to them. You will be emailed a copy of your loved one's response as they're submitted over the course of a year, and then after that year, Storyworth compiles all of those stories and photos into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. Families love Storyworth. That's why it has more than 35,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot, with millions of stories preserved since they were founded over 10 years ago. So help your family share and capture their stories this holiday season with Storyworth. Go to storyworth.com/who today and save $10 on your first purchase. That's STORYWORTH.com/who to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/who.
You and I love to see when I'm shopping for gifts for the holidays and I'm online, I'm doing my normal shopping, I'm going through all the stores, and I see that little pop up and it says, here's your cashback offer from Rakuten. And I say, all right. And I click that button and I know that whenever I buy something from that website for the holidays, I will be getting money back into my pocket. That's incredible.
Yeah. And yes, it's gift giving season. We're approaching gift giving season. I might be heading up to like wine.com or like Best Buy to get some gifts for people, but
eBay, Real, Urban Outfitters, Sephora.
Recently, I was on Zappos buying a new pair of shoes for myself, and I saw, I think it was a 10% cash back that I wasn't even expecting with the pair of shoes that I bought. And I was like, that's a sleigh, because it's very easy to get that cash. It's like real money. It's not hard to get that money. They just transfer it into your PayPal account.
No, it's not hard. It's not hard.
Rakuten is the best way to save lots of money this holiday season because you can stack holiday sales and deals on top of cashback to maximize your savings at over 3,500 stores. That's called maximizing your joint sleigh. Stores will be at the highest cashback rates of the year, all the way up to 15% cashback at some of your favorite brands through the holiday season. Here's how it works. You go to your favorite stores, like we said, it's like Best Buy, Nike, Zappos, etc., and those stores pay Rakuten to send them shoppers, and Rakuten passes on a part of that money to members via PayPal or check. You get the cash back at hundreds of stores across every single category, including fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, and so much more. They also find you the best deals, sales, and coupons. They do the work of searching for coupon codes so you can save time and money. Plus, membership is free and it's easy to sign up. Join the 17 million members who are already saving. Start all of your holiday shopping at Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app to start saving today. Your cash back really adds up.
I want to be famous.
Hi, Who Weekly. Who is Marisa Abela? She is getting absolutely flamed on TikTok for her Amy Winehouse impression in the new Amy Winehouse movie. And is she famous? Is like this her first big thing? What is her deal? And also, why is it a common like opinion that everyone in the comments is like Lauren from Fifth Harmony should have done it? Is she known for being like similar to Amy Winehouse? I'm just curious. Okay. Bozo Jozo Bo Jojo. Bye.
Marisa Abela is an actress who is best known for her role on Industry, which is a pretty buzzy show. I wouldn't say it's not the Bear status, but I do think a lot of people, it comes up a lot where like, are you watching Industry or does anyone watch Industry? Like,
the Industry heads are obsessed with Industry.
Right.
And we all know Myhala became famous because of Industry and has gotten a lot of stuff since from that.
But it's still on, so that's good.
They're filming a third season now.
Is now being talked about because she is the titular Amy Winehouse in the Sam Taylor Johnson directed Amy Winehouse biopic that has some of the worst promotional material I think ever committed to television and the internet.
It's a really upsetting idea all the way around. I find it crazy that Leslie Manville is Amy Winehouse's mother, but I guess Leslie Manville needs a check.
Well,
they're bragging about the fact that, it has a cursed director, Sam Taylor Johnson. They're bragging about the fact that she's singing.
Which is, to me, you could do a pitch perfect impression of the singer, and I still think you should not sing if you are an actor in a biopic. Like, I don't want to hear Taron Egerton as Elton John. I don't care how well he can mimic him. It does not matter to me. Like, if you have the rights to the music, play the fucking original voice, especially if it's Amy Winehouse.
And if you can't do that, and if there's no way to write the movie, because I feel like a lot of this movie, based on the trailer, has like her like doing rehearsals and writing the music, so you need to use her voice because the actual recordings of those things don't exist. All we have are the studio recordings and maybe some early demos or something. So it's like we need this stuff, but it's like, but if you can't do it without just having what the recordings you have, then don't do it at all. Because Amy Winehouse is one of the most iconic voices of multiple generations. So why are you putting it? I just feel bad for her, even if she's a good singer.
I get being able to riff in scenes like that. You're right. You know what? Maybe you're right. Like if it's not just like playing a straight song and they don't have clips of her that are, you know, acoustic or that they can or they can, you know, edit, fine. I understand what you're saying. But to have her like to not just play the Amy Winehouse music when you can and have this girl sing it instead is kind of taken away from the fact that it's like there are a lot of good singers out there, but why is Amy Winehouse, right? She has a je ne sais quoi about her voice that is kind of special, and even if you're able to mimic it, you can't quite get it ever, and that's why she is she. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there is a
she. Yes.
Thank you.
I don't write songs to be famous. I write songs because I've got to make something good out of something bad.
But I do have a little bit of a conspiracy about this movie.
You haven't told me this conspiracy. I want to hear it.
The marketing has been so bad that I'm like, the movie itself cannot be this bad. Like, I don't think it's going to be a good movie, but I actually don't think it's going to be as bad as what we're seeing. I mean, I could be wrong, but there's something so... I feel like we're missing.
The jarring thing about it, all of the marketing is giving made for Lifetime television to premiere on a Saturday night.
I know.
And then, but you're seeing the trailers in movie theaters, and Leslie Manville, Academy Award nominee Leslie Manville is there, as is that one guy who is always
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is Leslie. Was she in that? No. Was that her?
She was Mrs. Harris.
Mrs. Harris of Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Harris.
Leslie Manville.
Eddie Marsan is in it.
Fucking too. Phantom Threads. Leslie Manville.
They plucked people out of Mike Lee movies and put them in an Amy Winehouse biopic, which sounds good, but then they have the worst trailers imaginable and like the worst sort of side-by-sides imaginable. Because, you know, remember, sorry to bring up Lady Gaga again, but remember when so, I'll be doing that. Me and the dementia care ward in like 2080. Sorry to bring up Lady Gaga again, but
I'm gonna buy us a jar, and it's gonna be called the Lady Gaga jar. And every time you bring up Lady Gaga, you have to put a quarter in the jar.
That is such a good idea, and I will do that. Okay, I will put that on my desk.
We each have to have a jar. I'll get you, and I'll get us 2 jars. And when we, oh my God, and you know what we do? Every time we put a quarter in, we're saving up for tickets to go see the jazz and piano show.
Yes.
And
so expensive. I couldn't justify buying tickets to that. I was like, I can't do this.
When we have $100 in Lady Gaga mentions, we have
you think it's just $100? It's so expensive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll never get there. We need to spend it on something that we realistically could work towards with the amount of times we mentioned Lady Gaga.
If I had to put 25 cents in a jar every time I mentioned Lady Gaga, I feel like I could save up for those tickets. In under a year.
Okay, so we're doing this. We're going to be doing this. So just be wary. It starts next week.
And I understand that Patrizia Reggiani is much less iconic than Amy Winehouse. But do you remember when you do side-by-sides for biopics like this? And you put the real person next to the person doing it, and then you're like, wow, that's a slay. She really nailed the aesthetics. When they do the side-by-sides for the Amy Winehouse one, you feel bad because she looks nothing like her. The styling is all wrong. They got the hair wrong. Everything's wrong.
I know. But what's annoying is I don't think we're out of pocket for making an Amy Winehouse biopic. We had the documentary. It's been a few years. Documentary was great. The story is compelling. She's really an iconic figure. A new generation should discover her. You know, I don't think my issue is not with the idea of doing it. I don't think it's like blasphemous or too soon or whatever. Like, that's what's kind of annoying about this. It could be a great biopic.
There's a really good way to do this biopic. There's a respectful, wonderful way to do it. It
Yes.
just seems, based on everything that they've released, that this is
Right.
not that way.
But that's why I'm partially kind of side-eyeing and being a little bit contrarian, where I'm like, what if it's good? And I know that's probably not the case based on what we've seen, but trailers can really deceive. Good trailers for bad movies, bad trailers for good movies. Like, you don't know. You don't know. I just saw somebody complaining about the trailer for the new, the movie that we saw at that festival a long time ago that's finally coming out. The Annie, the playwrights movie. Oh my God, what the fuck is her name? The
What are
flick.
you talking about?
Annie, the flick. Annie Baker, the new Annie Baker movie that's coming out that we saw.
I loved that movie.
Okay, so listen, I just saw
what was it
on,
called? Oh, I loved it with that woman I love,
It was
Julia
so
Nicholson.
long ago, and it's not even out. This is the dangerous thing about these.
With Sophie Okonedo. Oh, what's her name? Julian Nicholson and Sophie Okonedo. Oh, I loved that movie. What was it called? Holy shit. I loved every second of it.
Okay, but listen, my point was that somebody on Twitter that I just saw retweeted the trailer and said, this trailer is not doing this movie justice. This
Janet
Twee
Planet.
trailer. Thank you. It's coming out soon. We
the
saw it a
trailer's
long
out?
time ago. It was great. The trailer's out. But I saw someone saying this trailer is not doing the movie justice. It's so twee. It's taking things out of context it's not working. And I'm kind of like, yeah, that happens a lot for movies. They don't, you can have a not slay trailer for a slay movie. And sometimes movies don't lend themselves to trailers very well. So you have to trick people into watching them.
But back to Amy Winehouse movie. The caller also mentioned Lauren Uregui being like, put me in, coach, because people are like, I guess people have for a long time said that she looks like her, which she does. She looks more like Amy Winehouse than this girly Marisa Abela, and she is a professional singer. That's just going to happen no matter what. There's every time there's biopic casting, you have people coming out of the woodwork saying should have been X, should have been Y, should have been Z. Was she even considered? I don't know. She's never said that she auditioned. She's never said she was reached out. So
she did say, please reach out to me, which is I'm not sure the best.
But that was after the movie was made.
I know, but I feel like Lauren needs to talk to her people, not talk to Twitter. like don't you have a manager?
Lauren tweeted last week, LMAO, everyone tagging me in that Amy biopic trailer. Keep reminding them. So maybe that suggests that did maybe put in an inquiry to be like, can I do this? But they clearly said no.
It's too late, sweetie. So who is
Who
this
is this
actress
woman?
playing Amy Winehouse? Her name is Marissa. She's
She was
in
on
industry. That's kind of really the main thing. She's British. She was in Barbie as a teen talk Barbie, but she was cut from the entire thing.
So she filmed it. There are photos of her on set. If she's in the movie, she's only in the margins. She's there.
In the background or something. She's wearing a big hat. I really don't remember her. I don't think she was in the movie.
I don't remember seeing her. I don't remember
so
the joke
tragic.
about Teen Talk Barbie.
That's so tragic.
She did not have a featured role in Barbie, but she did in fact shoot Barbie and was in some of the promotional materials because there's a video of her on set talking about being in the movie.
Yeah.
But she didn't have an impact in this movie.
She didn't have an impact.
This is a Who story where you're sort of you take a role that on paper is the kind of thing that could shoot you to megastardom. But if it's bad, then you are flopped. Then you are fucked. You
mean this biopic?
It makes
is
me
what you're
me
saying.
think about the Madonna biopic where it's all these girlies were in the boot camp, but it's if the movie's bad, then you're fucked.
I'm sorry. It's so unfair that Bohemian Rhapsody was garbage. And it was below, it was everyone
Well, it made a bunch of
fucking
money
loved
and
it.
he won an Oscar, yeah.
But I'm saying that movie sucked ass,
And he sucks in it. And I like him and he sucks in it.
And he's good in Mr. Robot, I'm sure she's good in Industry. He is good, but that movie objectively sucks. Rocket Man's a little bit better, to be fair to its credit. It's a little bit better.
Well, Rocket Man is more... The thing about Rocket Man that is the saving grace is that Taron Egerton did in fact sing, but it was the whole point of that movie is that it's way more stylized and a little weird and a little more theatrical. You know, like this is giving classic biopic, very serious, doesn't seem stylized at all. The whole point of it seems to be like, let's just dramatize these iconic moments that were covered to death and just try to do a one-to-one thing with all these big moments.
And we'll see, because again, why I think why the Amy Winehouse biopic has so much potential is it's not just the music. She was full of drama. She had demons. She grew up Jewish. She has that. She like there's lots of like things about her that are actually so genuinely unique and interesting, right? Like a young Jewish girl growing up in Camden, right? That's where she's from, Camden Town. Mm-hmm. And with kind of a terrible father who controlled her career, and she's working with Mark Ronson, and she's starting in jazz, and then she goes pop, and she has a drug problem, and she meets a terrible guy who's encouraging that, and she stands by him, and there's just like there's so much here, and then the music, you know, and then the music.
But I like your conspiracy theory, actually, that the movie is being advertised to look so bad that when you watch it, you'll say, that was better than I expected.
Right. Well, it's not like I think it's being done on purpose. Like, I don't think they're like, we're going to purposely make it look bad, but I just think that it can't be as bad as we're seeing. And I just don't, while I don't love Sam Taylor Johnson as a director, I don't think she's completely incompetent. Like, I don't think, like you're saying it looks like a Lifetime movie, but those directors a lot of the time are pretty incompetent. And I don't think she is on that level. So I'm not,
No.
I do think that this movie has to be slightly better than what we're seeing, but like TBD. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong.
And one of those British guys, those white British guys, the interchangeable white Dunkirk British guys, is playing Blake.
Wait, did you see that?
It's Jack O'Connell.
Did you see that Nicholas Galitzine came out and said that like I auditioned for Dunkirk?
Remember
when I called him?
Just as you suspected. Just as you suspected.
It's giving auditioned for Dunkirk. He said he made it to the final round.
But I think you suspected that he was auditioning for the Harry Styles role, and it seems like that must be the one. Like that's the role he would fill.
He might have been, sweeties.
Kind of like the pretty boy, the pretty boy.
He might have been. And if there was gay sex in Dunkirk, you know he would have done it.
Ugh. There should have been gay sex in
I
Dunkirk.
I know. I would have watched more of it if there was.
Me leaving Dunkirk in 70mm being like, technically impressive movie, needed more gay sex.
I mean, when have you not said that about a movie?
Every Christopher Nolan could be improved if there was a little bit of gay sex. Go back to all of them. Go back to all of them.
I agree.
The Prestige, gay sex, should have had it. Insomnia, what if Robin Williams and Al Pacino had fucked? You know? Memento.
Tenet? What's going on in Tenet? There could have been room for gay sex in that.
Oh my God.
On that big yacht?
Backwards
they
gay sex?
Done it backwards.
Are you kidding me? Backwards gay sex in Tenet? Christopher Nolan, if you're listening.
Okay, great. This is great.
It's good. Anyway, I wish Marisa Abela the best, but I worry. We got some good calls coming up next. Here we go.
Hey, BLT. I'm at the Cherry Blossom Kite Festival in D.C. Which celebrities do you think can fly kites? Like, Dakota Johnson obviously cannot. Like, that's just duh. But, like, could Timothy Chalamet? Also, like, I kind of feel like Matt Damon might be able to. I feel like he's an option. There's some people out there. Becky G for sure could fly a kite.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
You know, the whole vibe. I understand this is a very vague question, but if you have any thoughts, let me know. Okay, crunch.
Listen, one of our most inspired questions. Which celebrities do you think could fly a kite?
It has to be celebrities who aren't super self-serious. And I kind of like what she's doing here, which is like...
Oh my God, are you bringing your kite this weekend? Did you pack your kite?
Literally, Jamie texted me earlier this week. And he was like, don't forget to bring Stephanie because Stephanie and Lady Gaga have to reunite at the beach this weekend. And I was like, you're so right.
Okay, great.
Because I bought a kite a few years ago for the beach. And I named
25 cents.
I named her Stephanie Germanata. And then our friend Jamie bought a kite and named her Lady Gaga. So we had two kites. One was Lady Gaga and one was Stephanie Germanata. And we flew them together once and it was beautiful.
Beautiful day where they were both being flown in tandem. Stephanie Germanata and Lady Gaga.
And Jamie texted me, Stephanie and Lady Gaga have to reunite this weekend. And I was like, that's such a good point.
Okay. Listen.
I was like, Josh, where's the kite? He was like, I was like, the kite's in the apartment, right? And he was like, yeah, it's somewhere. I think it's under the bed. I was like, okay, good. I got to bring it to the beach.
Like, okay, listen. What celebrities can fly kites?
Okay, so the caller said Dakota Johnson absolutely couldn't, which I agree with, because you need someone who has a more like more of a sense of fun, who isn't self-serious. So this caller said Matt Damon could and Becky G could. I think those are good. I think those are good guesses.
You need to. So you're saying you need to have a sense of whimsy. You're not just
Whimsy.
Out here being
Thank you.
Serious.
I couldn't grab
You're not
that
just
word.
out here
It's
being
whimsy.
serious flying a kite. It's really kind of such a rare kind of personality defect for you to be flying kites if you're over the age of 8. You know.
Yeah. You need to have it. Who are our most whimsical celebrities? It's a really good question, and I need a second
could
to
really
think about
see
it.
Meryl Streep flying a kite. I have to say, I don't know if she's whimsical, but I could really see her like get it, like being like, oh, like delighted by flying a kite.
I think you want to go on to, honestly, anyone on the Gilded Age. Your Carrie Coons, your Danae Bentons, your even maybe not Louisa Gummer, your Christine Baranski's, your Audra McDonald's. I think you have to have it's a theatrical mindset, I think. You know?
Sure. I also think any actor who's like really into method could fly a kite because they would take it so seriously.
Oh, you're
like,
saying
you're walking
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Phoenixes is yeah, like I'm saying they're stepping up to the kite and they're seeing it and they're being like, this is a challenge and I will perform. And then they're kind of like doing the kite for way too long and everyone's like, why are you still flying the kite? Like, you can stop flying the kite. And they're like, no, this is my challenge for the day.
Whereas your Dakota Johnsons would say, why would I fucking fly a kite?
Yeah, Dakota
I'm not
Johnson's
fucking doing that.
And Kirsten Dunst is not flying a fucking kite.
No.
She's like, this is not why I'm not flying a fucking kite.
No,
I'm
she's
busy.
smoking a cigarette. She's not
Right.
flying
She's
a
like,
kite.
I only have one hand. The other hand
Yes.
has to be holding a ciggy.
Yes.
Right. You need
But
people who-
would
Yes?
Jesse Plemons fly a kite? Yes. Yes.
Well, with the
he would.
children, but I don't think for very long either. I don't think so as much. But he is more method than she. More method.
Okay. Now I'm thinking of Jesse Plemons, so I'm thinking Killers of the Flower Moon. Would Leonardo DiCaprio fly a kite? I say no.
No, of course not. Even though you're right, he is more method. But I don't see him fly. But he's really not method because he kind of just like becomes his normal like skeezy Leonardo self when the camera stopped rolling.
Would Lily Gladstone fly a kite?
I don't know. I love that you're just doing Killers of the Flower Moon. Oh, you know who would fly the hell out of a kite?
Who?
Jessica Chastain.
Oh.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Like she would just really get into it, I think.
Wait, we're missing the number one celebrity kite flyer. Oh my God,
Who?
how did I not think of it?
What?
The number one whimsical celebrity who would love a kite, Lindsay.
Who?
Is Drew Barrymore.
Barrymore. Damn. Wait.
That's
you
the
are
number one kite
so
flyer.
right. She would love to fly a kite. She would have a kite expert on her show and be like, this is the most fun I've ever had in my whole life.
Drew Barrymore would not only fly
cry
a kite,
and
she would
scream.
cry when the kite catches a gust of wind, she would sob.
She would cry.
It's Drew Barrymore is our
and
number one kite flyer.
Scream
Yes.
about the kite. You're so right.
It's Drew Barrymore. Number
you
one
are
kite
so
flyer.
right. Okay,
I can't
fine.
think of a more whimsical celebrity
No,
than
you're
Drew
right.
Barrymore.
No, you're so right. You're so right.
Childish heart. Maybe even a Channing Tatum.
Okay, but he has because I'm also thinking like he has a daughter. I feel like that's he could get into. He did write a children's book. Any celebrities write a children's book like Josh Gad would also be like, sure, I'll fly a fucking kite. I'll love it.
Any celebrity that has a sense of whimsy that is very childlike, plus celebrities who are stage actors, I think those are your big kite flyers.
Because in a way, I'm feeling like, yes, the whimsical celebrities are flying kites, and that's more the obvious answer, the Drew Barrymore, and that's a perfect answer. But then I'm also feeling the more unexpected celebrity that would be into flying a kite is the more taking it so seriously and really devoting themselves to the art of kite.
Mm-hmm.
So that so there's a little bit of a two sides of the same coin here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Gaga would fly a kite. Put the quarter right in the jar.
Clink, 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 clink.
Wait, you know what we need? A little sound effect that shows when we put the quarter in the jar. I'll record
that's
myself putting the quarter in the jar, and then
just
we can
record one and then send me the audio.
Okay.
Clink.
Clink.
Just drop a quarter in a mason jar and then send me the
Okay.
audio.
I will. I'm gonna make the Lady Gaga
I love
jar.
Foley work. I love Foley work. Okay. Next call.
Hello, Lindsay and Bobby, and hello, Timmy. Long time. I'm calling because I recently had a baby, and we named her Mary after her grandmother, who's still alive and also named Mary. We call the baby May for short. Anyway, so since she's named after her grandmother Mary, for her first birthday, we want to have a Mary party, like come dressed as a Mary, and we're going to do like a joint birthday with the grandma. And now it's dawning on me that like I can't think of any famous Marys besides like the Virgin Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Mary Tyler Moore. And like, are there, and maybe Mary Steenburgen, but are there famous Marys? And if so, can you name some? I like, this party could be a flop without your help. Crunch, crunch. Thank you. Love the Marys.
The first Mary that comes to mind, Timmy put Mary Elizabeth Winstead in here. The first Mary that comes to mind is Mary J. Blige and Mary Steenburgen. Those are the first that come in my brain. But then I Googled famous Marys, and we have a lot of people who, like, you know, Mary Magdalene, okay? Mary Martin.
Like, what about Mother Mary? Like the Mary, Ms. Mary, Jesus Mom Mary.
Mary, and then Mary Magdalene, and then Mary J. Blige, Mary Steenburgen, Mary Tyler Moore. How could we forget the person that Cola Scola, you know, thrust into the national stage? Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Poppins, a fictional character, but one of the most famous Marys anyway, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I always think of also just the character, Mary Jenkins from 227, simply because it was one of Jackie Harry's catchphrases.
Okay.
Constantly saying, "Hey, Mary."
Okay.
But are there any other major Marys that we're missing? I think those are big Marys. I would say the most popular Mary in culture, as in like alive, I think it might be Mary J. Blige.
I mean, what's funny is that Timmy wants us to say Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and I can't imagine a worse Mary to go dressed as. You would just be a woman.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Who are you?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I'm Mary Elizabeth Winstead." And they'd be like, "What?" And you'd be like, "I'm Mary Elizabeth Winstead." And they'd be like, "What?" And you'd be like, "I'm Mary Elizabeth Winstead."
Do you put Meryl Streep in the Mary bucket since her real name is Mary?
No.
Her government name is Mary.
No.
Okay.
No.
I think you want to have Mary J. Blige. I think you want to have Mary Steenburgen. I think you want to have Mary Tyler Moore. I think you want to have Mary Magdalene, Mary Todd Lincoln, Mother Mary. Yeah, those are your big Marys. And Mary Poppins is a big obvious Mary because it's an easy Mary to dress as.
What about there's something about Mary, and you do your hair with the sperm?
The hair with the sperm, and also one of my other favorite Marys, Mary McDonnell.
Who's
iconic
that?
Mary.
Who's that?
She was in Battlestar Galactica. She's mom and Donnie Darko. She was in Grand Canyon, a movie.
I
You
don't
know
know
Mary
her.
McDonnell. Dances with
No.
Wolves.
No.
Tatanka.
No one's gonna know who that is. Sorry. When
Yes, they
come.
will.
No, I don't know. I don't think
You
so.
want to know? Fun fact about Josh. You know, when we say, "Oh, our queen," and we're talking about, like, you know, Lady Gaga, cling, 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 cling. When Josh says "my queen," he's referencing Mary McDonnell, which is his number one favorite actress.
Is who?
Mary McDonnell.
That's his number one favorite actress.
He loves Mary McDonnell.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know that. That's incredible. No, I
loves
mean, that's
Mary
amazing. Listen, I also feel you could be like Mary Jane. Like, you could come as a pot leaf and be like, "I'm Mary Jane."
Oh, that's a good one.
You know,
no,
could
you
be
know who Mary McDonnell is.
creative.
You know why you would know who Mary McDonnell is?
Why?
Because she's the president's wife in Independence Day, who Vivica A. Fox finds in the rubble.
Okay, that's something. She really has had a lot of non-iconic roles.
I'm naming nothing but iconic roles, and you're
yeah, but
rejecting
it's always
me.
kind of a basic person in the iconic.
Have you seen Passion Fish with Alfre Woodard?
Can you?
And
send
she's
me a
the
picture
soap
of her?
star.
Can you see a picture of her? Second look. Send me when she looked. Send me a picture of her at her most iconic. This is not Josh's favorite actress.
This is Josh's favorite actress.
Josh.
You know he loves Battlestar Galactica. She's
Oh my
President
God,
Rosalind.
she's unrecognizable. She's unrecognizable.
She
woman.
is a tremendous actor. You don't recognize this lady?
No. Who is I? No, I don't. I like recognize her, but I'm like, that is not an iconic woman.
Okay, let me find a picture of her in Dances with Wolves.
Okay, but listen, this
She
is
had like
not
the windswept hair
This is
in Dances with Wolves. Look at this.
Okay, but you trying to convince me this is a woman that somebody should go to a party dressed as is not working. Like, the basis of this ask is that you should not go to a party dressed as this woman. This woman is just a woman with brown hair. Okay, I know. Okay, I do know her from Dances of the Wolves. Yes, she is iconic in Dances of the Wolves.
Okay,
When
go
they put a
dressed
little
as
dirt-
Mary Poppins.
They put a little
go
dirt
dressed
on her
as Mary
face.
J. Blige. Go dressed
dressed
as
as a
Mary
pot leaf
Steenburgen.
and be
Well, how do you
Mary
dress
Jane.
as Mary? A pot leaf is a great one.
There we go.
Yes.
Great.
Because I think just don't overthink it, you know? Just do the iconic Marys. It'll
Don't
be great.
overthink it like we just did.
Don't do Mary McDonnell. Sorry.
All right. And with that, it's an hour 43, so I really think you don't want us to do any more.
I'm sorry, you don't want us to rank Yukon Gold Potatoes or the Yukon River?
No. End it. Please.
You don't want us to talk about the Who's and Thems that went to Questlove's Doritos game night?
You are editing this. I'm doing this for you. This is a gift.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Who's There. Keep calling in at 619 Who Then. Leave questions, comments, and concerns for our Friday show. Thank you to Katie and Eric of the Who's for providing our Rita theme song on Tuesdays. Thank you to Timmy, our research and editorial assistant, for researching and editorializing, even though you think that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the most iconic Mary. Thank you, Grace. I think you're wrong. Support us on patreon.com/weekly for bonus episodes, a Discord server, commentary tracks, and more. We're going to have a good episode this weekend, as usual. You can also get the audio only on Apple Podcasts.
Audio
Just
only.
click subscribe within the app. We will be adding a Lady Gaga jar to all future episodes because it is now officially canon. It's part of the show. We're going to save money. I have to put a mason jar on my desk soon. I will get a label at Lindsay's apartment because she has an iconic label maker. And we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Real.
Hey.
Real.
Hey.
That is not an iconic woman.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. Listening to the pod, you referenced that movie, which I already... Fuck off! Oh my god, sorry, that was my cat. Embarrassing. Oh god. You referenced that movie with the grandma walking through the lava, and she's like, oh. I think about that movie fucking regularly, but I never knew the name of it. I don't, it's like... Anyways, justice for that movie. Thank you, Showing Whole.
Hey, BLT. I just wanted to call about Bobby's story about Amanda Knox and the Italian people who said she was a witch. The only thing I just wanted to confirm is that Italians do think that she's guilty. I spoke to my Sicilian cousin about this a number of years ago, I think whenever the last trial was or whatever, and she was absolutely 100% that she was guilty. And despite all of the facts about the case that don't make any sense, I done a deep dive on Amanda Knox, I'm sure we all have, and it was just I think the way that it came out there so tied to religion, and the country is so tied to religion that I think that whole country just hates her and would absolutely say she was guilty. So anyway, even though I'm not sure if which is the correct answer, but they definitely think she's guilty. Okay, crunch.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby. Long time, many time. I was just listening to the Tuesday episode when you were talking about toxic Aries and the fact that everybody's astrology. And I just had to stop to tell you that I have known for so long, because I'm a long-time listener, and I knew you were both born in April, but I didn't know the dates. And I have known in my gay astrology bones that Lindsay was an Aries and Bobby was a Taurus. And maybe it's really obvious, or maybe it's my gay astrology bones, but I needed to call and tell you that. Crunch, please keep who's famous, morefamousbirthdays.com.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby, Timmy. I'm giving you a call because Cheryl Lee Ralph is definitely an ally. From what I recall, she was one of the people who spoke out pretty early during the AIDS crisis. I think she was on Broadway at the time, and she had lost friends to AIDS, and she ended up creating a foundation called Divas that also spreads awareness or does something for HIV/AIDS research. But there's a lot of articles on it. Anyways, so, Cheryl Lee Ralph, LGBTQ ally. Bye.
Hi, Weekly. I'm really calling for Lindsay about last week's show when someone called in to ask you to who to them people from the Hills, and you guys sort of initially came up with one order, and then you were like, wait, like, let's really look at, let's like really think how we're doing the who to them and like what does it mean to be whoiness. It's not just about most to least famous. And, for a second I was like scared. I was like, oh my God, she's like changing it. And I don't know, I just felt this kind of like fear, And then when you really got into it and you came up with the new who to them, I was like, oh my God, she's so good. Like, I was just like, I was blown away by your skill and, just the way that you really carried me from this fear to this really, like, oh, I'm in such good hands. And, I just wanted to throw that compliment your way because it was like, I mean, I don't know, I'm gagged, I'm floored. I listened last week and it just, it's Monday and it just popped into my head on my commute. So anyway, showing crack, crunch, crunch, goodbye.
Hey, Lindsay, Bobby. I'm just calling to ask if a bushel is a who or a them. Bushel, as in the measurement. I bought a laundry basket today, and they tell you how big the laundry basket is, but it's all measured in bushels, which feels very hooey, but obviously like a bushel and a peck from that song or whatever. Bushel Wikipedia says it's equivalent to 4 pecks or 8 dry gallons. Okay. Crunch, crunch. Bye.